What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, two-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Showtime Shawn Porter, who is now retired and in the media business. He has his podcast, the Porterweight Podcast. He has merchandise. He's a colorful boxing analyst now and boxing pundit for Showtime, PBC, Premier Boxing Champions. He's also doing work with The Zone, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn. And Shawn Porter, he's now retired. But Shawn Porter, he weighs in on the biggest fight in the sport of boxing between two guys that he personally faced. He faced off against these two gentlemen, and it's now the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. He came up short in both fights. And that's between undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terence Crawford, 38 wins, no loss, and no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, and undefeated, unified 3-belt WBC, WBA, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be the #2, if not the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He's 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, they make for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. It's an undisputed welterweight showdown, and it's the fight everybody's anticipating, but it seems to have hit a major roadblock. Now, Shawn Porter, his last fight was with Terence Crawford. That was November of 2021, okay, in which Shawn Porter, he lost a 10th round stoppage victory in favor of Terence Crawford, and he faced off against Errol Spence. He lost a decision to Errol Spence back in September of 2019, okay. So Shawn Porter, he knows a thing or two about this sport of boxing, the business, and the competition, right? And Shawn Porter, he weighs in on why this fight is not happening, and he flat out calls it BS. And he says that everybody's making it about percentages. He stated that it's the money that's holding up the fight. He said at the end of the day, it's the money that's preventing this fight from coming to fruition. He says it's BS that, we're talking about percentages. Both guys should just get what they're looking for, okay? And then in a rematch, they work something out, okay? So Shawn Porter, he's tired of the politics in the sport of boxing, and he's saying he calling BS on it. And I agree with Shawn Porter, because the networks, are going to make a ton of money on this fight. And yes, we know that everybody's pointing at Terence Crawford as the reason why the fight is not happening, because he's pricing himself out. He's looking for more money than they're willing to give him. But like Shawn Porter said, and like I stated before in previous interviews, you can look at the actual numbers of Terence Crawford, and you can say, well, they have a price that they feel like he's worth. Now, Terence Crawford, he can feel like that price is higher than what they're labeling him as, because this is the biggest fight in boxing. So you can't go by those numbers, okay? In the eyes of Terence Crawford, I'm saying, right? Because this is a fight that's going to generate tons of money, and Terence Crawford, he wants to get paid, because only Terence Crawford and only Errol Spence are going to take the punches. It's only the two of them, okay? Not Showtime president of sports Stephen Espinosa, not PBC founder and advisor Al Heyman, not the managers, okay? Nobody's going to take these punches. Nobody's going to put their health on the line outside of Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, and it's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, hands down, okay? And I do agree with Shawn Porter in this situation, right? This is an allowance on the part of Showtime, okay? Because Showtime doesn't need the sport of boxing. It's just like HBO didn't need the sport of boxing, and when they felt like it, they did away with it. Showtime, this is essentially a hobby for Showtime, okay? They're a $1 billion company that makes billions of dollars every year, and they give Stephen Espinosa the allowance to essentially invest in his toy. which is the sport of boxing. Okay, they're going to make tons of money on the pay-per-view. They're going to make tons of money at the gate, right? And like Shawn Porter said, just give the fighters what they want. And I do agree. Now, I'm not saying that if Terence Crawford said he wants $50 million, you just turn around and give him $50 million. And if Errol Spence said he wants $50 million, you just turn around and give Errol Spence $50 million. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if it's reasonable, I think that they should conform and give both fighters what they're looking for. Okay? Now, it's going to be a rematch clause, I'm sure. They're going to look to do this more than one time. It's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, and I think it needs to happen ASAP. But listen to what Shawn Porter had to say regarding this.
Errol Spence Jr., we're talking Bud Crawford. What's the biggest bottleneck you think right now standing in the way from inking pen to paper?
Money.
Okay, but 60, 40, 55, 45, what's the deal with this?
I really don't even think that it's about percentages for this fight.
What is it?
I think they're making it about percentages, and I think that that's what boxing has shown us for so long.
Yeah.
That champions deserve or can demand a percentage. These guys shouldn't be fighting for a percentage. They should be fighting for what they want, and they should both be getting what they want. And the best man should be able to get more in the second fight. Simple as that.
So you see what Shawn Porter said, and I wholeheartedly agree with Shawn Porter. Okay, I think that Terence Crawford should get what he's looking for, or around about what he's looking for. Okay, and I think Errol Spence should get what he's looking for, or around about what he's looking for. Because we know they were willing to put up front $60 million for Canelo Alvarez to face Errol Spence and then Jermall Charlo. Okay, they had a $100 million pot for Canelo Alvarez to face Errol Spence and then Jermall Charlo. $45 million to fight Errol Spence, $55 million to fight Jermall Charlo, or vice versa. That's $100 million. And then what they're going to pay Jermall Charlo and what they're going to pay Errol Spence. So that's $120 million at the very least they were willing to front for Canelo Alvarez for 2 fights. And according to recent reports, Canelo Alvarez only racked in 350,000 or less pay-per-views in his last fight. So Errol Spence did 350,000 pay-per-views with 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia. This is a bigger fight than Errol Spence's fight with Mikey Garcia. So if that's the case and you're willing to put up that type of money for Canelo Alvarez, then what's the problem with putting up this type of money? Now, I'm not saying they got to put up $120 million for this fight, but they definitely can put up some respectable amount of money. Why can't they put up $50 million total and say, here goes 25 to Terence Crawford, here goes 25 to Errol Spence? And then you work out something in the back end. Maybe they don't get pay-per-view revenue. Maybe they don't get the live gate. Maybe they just get their guaranteed purchase of $25 million up front. And maybe you promote the fight to its max, and you take the live gate, you take the pay-per-view numbers, and you look to get your money back. How about doing it in that manner? But find a way to get it done, right? It's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. And like Shawn Porter said, why fighters and champions be limited to purses, to percentages? It should be, fighters just getting what they're looking for. Again, reasonably.
Champions deserve or can demand a percentage. These guys shouldn't be fighting for a percentage. They should be fighting for what they want, and they should both be getting what they want. And the best man should be able to get more in the second fight. Simple as that.
That's it.
Simple as that. If you want 10 million, if we can make 10 million happen for you, we're going to give you 10 million. And then in the next fight, if you want 12 or 15, whatever it is, we should be able to make that happen for you and give it to you. We shouldn't be talking about splitting up 10 million and you getting 60 of that, you getting 40 of that. That's BS, and that's what the boxing world is all about. So, 12 or 15, whatever it is, we should be able to make that happen for you and give it to you. We shouldn't be talking about splitting up 10 million and you getting 60 of that, you getting 40 of that. That's BS, and that's what the boxing world is all about. So,
A division.
See, so there you have it, right? And that's what happens. There's a pot, right? And so they'll give you a pot. Oh, we have a pot of $20 million, and now you guys got to find a way to divvy up the $20 million. And that's where it goes wrong, point blank and period. And Shawn Porter is 1,000% correct. This is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. Find a way to get it done. Period. Again, like I said, I know people are going to say, well, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford not Canelo Alvarez. No, I'm not saying they are. But you can find a way to come up with, if you willing to give Canelo Alvarez and his opponent $60 million, you can come up with $40 million to give $20 million to Terence Crawford, $20 million to Errol Spence. Period. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.